be here as well. So, like Maurice said, I'm a Des Moines native. I went to Roosevelt High School, graduated in '95.
Roosevelt?
Went to Callanan with Bangladesh as well. I moved up out of here. I worked for The Source, where I was the executive editor for about 8 years. A couple of years ago, I left from there and worked at a company called Cashmere Agency and Stampede Management. And through the management side of the company, we manage Far East Movement, Exhibit, DJ Quick, and Snoop Dogg. And then from the marketing side, where I'm the director of creative strategy, we do all the marketing for them, especially the online marketing, do marketing for other people as well, including E40, Twista, Corrupt, Game. Have a lot of other clients as well, Adidas, Pepsi, Gatorade, Red Bull, Def Jam Records, Capitol Records, Universal Records. And basically what we do at Cashmere is really kind of focus on how to market to the people that's in this room. And back in the days, there used to be a lot of street teams, a lot of radio promotions. All that is still a very necessary component of getting your music out or getting your product out. But as we know these days, we focus a lot more on communicating more efficiently through text messages, through social networks like Facebook and Twitter and MySpace to some extent. A lot of viral video marketing through Vimeo and YouTube and stuff like that. We also have a staff of about 50 people, so we have a large online publicity component. So when you go into World Star, you go into Not Right or Rap Radar or All Hip Hop, we're kind of behind the scenes and making sure that the assets get placed up there and that the interviews happen and stuff like that. So that's kind of the rundown of what my day-to-day is, along with management, going on the road with Snoop or Exhibit and stuff like that, making sure that we're constantly capturing assets, whether it's viral video footage or whether it's pictures here and there, so that we can communicate with the fan base direct. And I think our greatest case study thus far has been Snoop, who has over 3 million followers on Twitter and is picked by the New York Times as being the 6th most influential person on Twitter, ahead of Barack Obama, which is kind of ironic. And also on his Facebook fan page, which we utilize a lot, he has 9 million followers on there. So we're constantly building this constant stream of communication between the fans and the artists and the producers and stuff like that. So that's kind of the rundown.
But yeah, my name is CL. Everybody knows me. Represent a company called DIGIWAXX Media out of New York, and really we're a music-based agency. Created a music site called DIGIWAXX for DJs, really to get music and connect artists and DJs. We have about 40,000 members, and we focus on getting DJs and artists information. The way it works is that for new artists, we utilize the site. We service out their music for DJs. We only ask for an opinion on their records, so as they're listening to it, they fill out a form, and you artists can see what these different DJs are saying all over the world before they actually can download it. And that information, we try to make it easier for people to really connect with their base, or you artists. But on the bigger side, a lot like Cashmere, we're an agency as well. We work with a lot of brands and trying to connect artists and brands, and really just helping, create platforms and finding ways to put artists in places where they could be seen. So that's what we're all here for, to sort of drop the knowledge on that. Also manage a couple artist MEMS. I manage DJ Webstar out of New York, a new girl named Wish who's on Jive, and a bunch of other people, Mickey Fax, Saigon. It's all love. And what's key is that we all are here. It's important that we connect. The ones that were smart enough to come to this conference, you're gonna find that your base, your power, it begins with your connections. Who do you know? Who can you reach out to help you get to where you need to go, or help you get placed to where you got to go? It's just the basics. So I applaud y'all for coming out. I'm excited. I already met some great people. Bang showed me around the town last night. It's been amazing. And it's just let's drop the knowledge, just share the knowledge, and that's what I'm here for.
This is Shondrae, Bangladesh, Crawford, multi-platinum producer, the man behind many hits for Beyonce, Lil Wayne, Gucci Mane. He pretty much put Ludacris on the map, so I'm gonna go ahead and let him embellish on his beginnings, his story.
Y'all know Everybody know me right here, man. Basically, man, I was just a dreamer, man, from a city where it wasn't too much to see, too much positivity to see. So I was a dreamer, man, and just, wanted to do what I wanted to be. I wanted to be the inspiration that I didn't have, or that we didn't have growing up. You know what I'm saying? In the inner city where we grew up, it's, what it is, man. It's just a lot of negativity. That's what we see. So I think in order to change it, you have to change it, And I just wanted to be the one to start up that engine to change our mentality and the way we think and the goals we set, and believe that you can achieve something besides being the biggest street dealer, or the hardest thug, or whatever that we set out to be. So that's all I wanted to be, is inspiration. And I just want to set that example. And I wanted to bring this confidence here because I always hear you don't do this for the city, you don't do that, and you don't rock with us, you don't do this, you don't do that. But it's like, you gotta do something, you gotta do shit for yourself, man. You know what I'm saying? You gotta bring the product to me. You know what I'm saying? I can't change your life. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta want your life to change. And even when you reach out to somebody and you find a dope rapper, they a felon, you know what I'm saying? Or they in trouble. So it's like you can't like waste your time on something that is not a believer of themselves. They don't even believe in themselves. It's like a waste of time. Like, I ain't got time to waste my money. I ain't got time to waste time, period. You know what I'm saying? I got kids to feed, so that's what I be focused on. And if you're serious about something, you don't waste people's time. You know what I'm saying? If you believe in your music, you get everybody else to believe it. Like, wasn't nobody feeling my beats at first. It's just I believed in myself. So, I kept going. Nobody was there from the mornings. Wasn't nobody in my room. Wasn't nobody buy me an MP. I did. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to bring knowledge to the city. You know what I'm saying?
Be able to say, these people like my music, you should start playing it. So like that dilemma that the gentleman brought up, like that happens everywhere. It's not just Des Moines, so like don't feel that you're, being targeted or left out or neglected. It goes for everybody. Sometimes like you're going to have to leave where you're at to get other markets messing with you so that you can look like, big shit popping where you're from. So we're gonna move on to the next topic. We were touching on it earlier, the importance of, having support, having a team. In 2011, who do you think are the key people that every artist should have on their team? At certain levels of the game, a publicist is necessary. Certain levels of the game, a manager is necessary. Some people, they need somebody to tweet and do Facebook for them because they don't know how to use a computer. Right now, like who would you say are the people that, like what does a team consist of? We always hear that you need a team. What does that team consist of?
What is a publicist? What is a publicist?
Well, I can answer that since I'm a writer. The publicist is pretty much the person that's representing you. You're the artist, you have a song, you have a video, you're trying to get a feature in the newspaper, you're trying to get on a television show, you're trying to get in the magazine. The publicist is the person that is making those phone calls to those editors, to those, not really like the DJs, but sometimes radio personalities who try to get interviews and awareness up about your product. That's the publicist's responsibility. On the backside of that, they're also a crisis manager sometimes. Like if you get on Twitter and you say, oh, Cascades gave me AIDS or something like that, and a shitstorm starts, they're going to have to be the person, like, no, he was just angry, he didn't mean that, what he meant to say was this. Make sure you buy his album May 23rd, keep it moving. So like that's a publicist. Did that answer anybody's question?
Yeah, and I think to go back to your main question, the most important thing in developing your team is finding people that are number one, capable, and people number two that you trust. So you definitely want to have that. But and that could be anyone. That could be your cousin, it could be your homie, it could be a friend of a friend, it could be a local promoter, a local radio personality, it could be the dude at the barbershop. But they have to be a capable person. We all know the capable people in our own social networks. We all know the capable people in our own communities. Where you look at this person, and you're like, okay, this dude's always he's always in the know. He always knows what's going on. He's at all the events. He knows everybody, right? But more so than that, so you find people that are capable. You find people that you can trust, because if it blows up the way you think it's going to blow up, you don't want that person messing up your reputation, or more importantly, messing up your money. And you know, things come at a certain level. A lot of times, to your question back there, brother, is a lot of times people come to us and they're like, yo, we need a publicist. I'm like, for what? You don't got no music, you ain't got nothing to publicize. You know what I'm saying? So you got to take it in steps. I think a lot of times, Maurice, a lot of people think now, because we're all so much educated about the music industry, that people come in like, okay, I got a publicist, I got a manager, this guy does my branding, this guy does my video, and then you're like, but you ain't doing nothing. You know what I mean? You got an office space and some internet, but you ain't doing nothing. So you got to be doing something first and foremost. But I would say all those different pieces are good pieces at certain points in time. I knew Bangladesh before he had a publicist, before he had a manager, but he was still working. You know what I'm saying? And he brought his game to the point that people that he trusts, like Deshaun and people like that, came to the table or built their relationships when there was work to be done. If not, you're just fooling yourself. It's not like the Field of Dreams in Iowa. If you build it, they will come. You got to have something for people to actually come to. You can't make a fantasy facade and think that's going to blow you up.
Yeah, I believe you got to exercise your craft and get good at what you do. Like, a lot of people think they're good already. You can't tell them nothing. You know, they don't want to listen, you know, because they the hottest in Des Moines, or they the best beat maker in Des Moines, they the best rapper in Des Moines. It's just, it's so much bigger than Des Moines. So if you can't listen, which is the most valuable thing since your mom and dad raised you, you know what I'm saying? You gotta listen to key examples of what's going on. If you can't listen, then you're not gonna progress. You're gonna be stuck in a mode. You're not gonna go nowhere. I think you have to be good, and once you're good, people come to you. But when you can't trust the people that's just coming to you because they looking for opportunity too, you never know who is who. So you gotta sift it out. And me, like, it's just, when I had a hit record, man, people coming out of nowhere, you know, and you could easily get caught up in the whirlwind of, you can get with an attorney you never knew, you can get with a manager you never knew, and they sticking you up, you know. But it's good to have the key opponents in your corner of people that you trust. Like, my attorney, when I was cutting hair, my client wife was an attorney, and I'm her biggest client. I'm her first client. I already knew her. Deshaun, you know, he in my corner. Like, he just stuck around. He just stick around. Not looking to get paid. You just a part of the movement. You wanna be a part of the movement. You wanna support. You gotta show and prove. You know what I'm saying? You gotta show. Let a person show what they can do. Don't just sign no contract. Don't sign nothing. They gotta show what they can do. You know what I'm saying? They gotta come to the table. You don't work for them. They work for you. They gotta bring something to the table. They gotta create opportunity for you. If they're not doing that, then you gotta move on. And you know, you gotta know the game yourself. You can't depend on your team to know everything. You should get the knowledge of your own. Like, I know a lot that spreads out to my team, and it shows them how I like to work and how I think and how I move. So they're not talking from their perspective, they're talking from my perspective.
Like, in keeping with, you know, the team thing, is like, since, you know, everybody up here gets approached, you know, by artists, by producers, DJs and whatnot, like, is it important to you, you know, to be approached by a team member? Because I've met independent artists that say they run into a glass ceiling where they're trying to get their music to, you know, a magazine, a DJ or whatnot, and the company will be like, you handed it to me yourself, man. You ain't got nobody working for you. Like, does that matter to y'all if an artist comes to you directly, or would you prefer for a manager to be the person giving you the music, or, you know, or anybody like that?
I think when it comes to like the bigger publications and, you know, some of the bigger outlets, it's sort of important to, I mean, with us as agencies, no, I don't care who comes to me. If you got something quality, it's gonna reach the top and somebody will say something at some point. But I feel like, you know, the reason why we're sort of valuable, you know, is because he may have that relationship with you or a different writer that they may not necessarily be able to they don't have, you know, at the end of the day. So, you know, I think, you know, as far as myself or you know, my shit, I don't care. I mean, you know, that's how I found some of the best talent in the world, was just being open. You know, but everybody's not like that. I'm not gonna sit up here and sugarcoat that. Some people are comfortable with having a rep, or, you know, this person's my quote-unquote indie, or the person they deal with. And that's part of the business. And that's why y'all are here to connect, to know that game in this game, you know. So it depends. It depends. But I would say that, you know, for me, I found myself being open, and I feel like we're a good outlet to those who just may not know, like somebody from a World Star or somebody from a Double XL, or maybe somebody at a radio station in a different city. You know, being able to be that connector. So,
yeah, I think that's important. To me personally, it doesn't matter if you bring me the music, but I get a lot of music. I get a lot of emails. If you're MC so-and-so and I've never heard of you before, most likely I'm just gonna throw your shit away. I'm just being 100. But if you give it to someone that has a relationship with me, then I'll listen to it, not based off of something I've never heard, but based off of a relationship that's already there. Now, I'm not gonna just take your music and throw it away off top, but you have to understand, like, all of us up here get inundated with music all the time. When I was at the Source, I never liked throwing away music, because I didn't want to throw away someone's dream until my whole extra bedroom in my house was full of CDs, and I was like, I gotta get rid of this shit. You know what I mean? So it's important, and with that, it's not just who's approaching; it's how you're approaching. If for instance, if you're from Des Moines and you come up to me or Bangladesh, we automatically gonna listen to your stuff off top because we share this commonality from the hometown. If you went to Roosevelt with me and I know you, I'm even more likely to listen to it. It's just, we're human beings just like anybody else. But that's why it's important to find someone or find a commonality that you might share with someone. Because, again, everybody's human beings. They all have emotions. You might catch me on a bad day. You might catch Shondrae when his MPC just broke down. So then he don't want to listen to nothing. He's not, you know what I'm saying? So everybody's humans. So that's why you have to be consistent with it. You have to be very strategic with whatever your delivery is. You know, these days, it's not always good just to hand somebody a CD. CDs got so cheap that it was easy for people just to press up CDs and hand it to them. I was at South by Southwest in Austin, got 1 million CDs. This one cat from Alabama or something came up and gave me a jump drive, a thumb drive with his beats on it, and it had his name on it. I was like, okay, this is dope. Number one, I could use the thumb drive if the music is garbage, but at least I got to plug it in to check it out, because he made himself stand out. And I didn't know him from a hole in the wall, but he made himself stand out. I listened to his music, it was good, and I started submitting it to some of the artists I work with. So it's be creative, be strategic, and be consistent.
Yeah, creativity is the key. Me personally, man, I don't really like the middlemen, you know what I'm saying? Because I had too many bad experiences with middle people, and they don't relay the messages like it should be. And I like to directly talk to the artist myself. That's how I really came up. I didn't come up through a label. I didn't come up through giving my beats to A&Rs or giving my beats to managers. I was directly at the artist. Like, I got at 8 Ball and MJG. I was at Ludacris. I got at Llewellyn. Like, going through a middleman, I give you my CD and he'll listen to it and he don't like it. So Lil Wayne won't hear it. And a Millie's on there. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like other people's opinion that don't make music. So if you just talking, I want to talk to the artist, me personally.
Since everybody in here in this room, is a person that's trying to, get more knowledge, I'm assuming that everybody is the quote unquote like independent artist. And the next round of questioning I wanted to get into was, like in 2011, is the independent artist kind of operates differently from what we saw in 1995. We saw the person, selling straight out of the trunk, hitting the clubs, all of that stuff. Now, they tend to only stay on the web. But some of them, they also come up with very savvy techniques too, because like you said, they have the resources to do so. And like two examples I wanted to bring up, like, we had Drake, who was technically independent for a time. Lil Wayne, actually Jay Prince's son heard his music, got into Wayne, and the rest is history. People were expecting Drake to stay independent in the midst of that bidding war, but he chose to go with a major label. Some people felt a certain way about that. Now you have a group like a Odd Future, the kids out of California. Same situation, bidding war, everybody wants them. They've struck a deal, but they didn't sign to anybody. They made their own label. So in 2011, for the people out here, like what would you say is, what should they be thinking about when they're looking at both sides of the table? Like, we're not here to say that one way is better than this because everybody has their own situations, their own identities. But in 2011, what are some of the things and some of the questions that people should be asking themselves when they're looking at, do I want to go this way or that way?
I think the Odd Future kids are a good example because I lived in LA. I've lived there for over 10 years. I really pride myself on understanding what's happening on the street level and understanding the music that's coming out. And about maybe 8 months ago, I started hearing about Odd Future, but their thing was already moving. It was already happening. And it was some young kids that I work with that was telling me about it. And then from that part, it just exploded to the point where it was on the cover of Billboard magazine not long ago. So what it means to be independent in 2011, I think really harkens back to some of what we've been talking about today. It's nobody in the industry knew who Odd Future was. You know what I mean? I had label execs tell me that when they heard of him, they was like, oh, that's never gonna work. That's never gonna work. Those kids is too crazy. But to what we've been speaking about today, those kids had their own blog going on that was populated with music and mixtapes and content. They had their own YouTube popping. They had their Twitter popping. And they built a fan base that surprised me wasn't just in LA. It was nationwide. And so by the time that everybody started hearing about it, it was already moving. So that's one way to be independent. Another way to be independent is what I was speaking with E40's manager about earlier is for some of the older artists that the labels have spent millions of dollars on them throughout the years to build the energy and awareness around their product. But now a lot of those people are going independent now. And E40, we worked with him on his last record and this record because he understands, like, people already know who I am. If I just get my stuff out there on the internet, I could do all that stuff myself. I could call Ryan myself. Raekwon was another great example of that. Common is about to do the same thing. Scarface is doing the same thing. And they have an advantage over all of us in this room because they've been around for so long and have the built-in fan base. But what it means to be independent today, I think it's a great question because 3-4 years ago, when you came to conferences like this and I go to them across the country, everybody was like, I need to get signed. How can I get signed? But now everybody's like, nah, I don't want to sign with no major. I want to make my money. Like, people are educated. So I think, but there does come a time where maybe the deal on the table from the label is better than what you got going on your own. And that's just something that you have to measure and weigh together. Like Master P did, or like Baby from Cash Money did, or like Drake did. And there's a lot of people that have been very critical of Drake for the move that he made because they were like, he's someone that could really revolutionize the music industry if he would have stayed independent and did it his own way. Odd Future, on the other hand, who you brought up, now they signed some kind of indie deal, but they're trying it the way that maybe Drake should have did it. So it really depends on who you are, what you want, and what they're offering.
I think independence is the way, man. It's the way because deals is a deal. It's like you're signing your life away. You put in your hands, you depending on somebody else to blow you up. And how labels work, man, sometimes they just sign people just to write them off on their taxes and set them on the shelf. So you be one of them artists that's most of the time. Because artists now today, in today's time, because we in today's time, they expect you to do the legwork. And they just want to partner up with you. Like I was saying, T.I., he was doing the legwork. So the ball was in his court. So he can go to instead of going to the labels is calling him, like, man, we want to get in business with you. Man, we got $2 million here for you just to get down. It ain't like he's walking in the label like, you like my music? Sign me. And the deal is crazy, and you really not being an educated person at the music, in the music business, and most people that want deals just want to be famous. They ain't trying to get money. You know what I'm saying? They just want to be famous. And a lot of these artists ain't got money. The niggas that got money is right there. You know what I'm saying? These independent niggas like me, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of independent people. You don't get money till like third, fourth album. If you see your third or fourth album. You know what I'm saying? You might not see your third or fourth album. You might have one chance.
Tell the truth.
So independence sets a core and a foundation for the future. Perfect example is Wiz Khalifa. Wiz had a major deal. He got dropped because they didn't know what to do with him. Wiz continued to tour and do shows, put out mixtapes constantly, all over, where Wiz Khalifa sells out crowds like crazy. So his foundation is solid. When people like you without a hit record, they fuck with you. They like you as an artist. That's what's missing in today's time as artistry, because we have like Teach Me How to Dougie and shit like that, and all these dance songs that kids gravitate towards and jump on real quick. They don't set a core. Like them, the Cali Swag District don't have a core audience. They just have a big record. Wiz Khalifa can go anywhere and don't have to have a hit record. Like E40, he gets independent money. He was selling out his trunk. So people can't tell you nothing. Can't tell me nothing about this shit because I sold 100,000 out my trunk. You can't tell me nothing. Can't nobody in the office tell me nothing because they sitting in the office. They don't create anything. We do. You know what I'm saying? So we're the engines of this music. We move it. We say what's hot. We say what's not. They don't say it. We do. So if you give them the power, of course they're gonna have the power. But if you keep the power, then you got the power. You know what I'm saying?
And at the end of the day, you know, the record label model, everybody's been talking about it. It is declining because, you know, the main things that they used to provide now, with the right team, with the right hustle, with the right heart, you can do on your own. You can digitally distribute your music directly to fans. You know, so that's sales, and those are numbers people can't not respect. They can't not respect if you sell it. They can't not respect if you got all of those followers and you're independent. You know, your Twitter, your Facebook, your Foursquare. When people say, yo, I'm gonna be at the Bangs conference in Iowa, and you telling 100,000 people wherever, and they, 10% of them are hitting you back. That's power. That's independent power. That means your voice is being heard.
Hard work. It's all about networking. It's about what you was talking about earlier, the social network, Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, all that good stuff. And just, collaborate with other rappers, you know what I mean? Paying attention to the game, man, just analyzing everything. But he was talking about some stuff earlier. I'm not gonna even lie. Major labels will, You know, you can't blame them because they do want to hit single. You know, but at the same time, if you came in the game with and ended up getting your own fan base, you know, like Wiz, myself, you know, the youngsters you was talking about, who was that?
Future.
Yeah, them boys, a whole bunch of people, man. But if you came in a game like that, you know, like Tech Nine. Tech Nine, if Tech Nine went and got a major label deal right now, I don't know if y'all familiar with my boy Tech Nine, but if he went and got a major label deal right now, and they'd have twisted him over to try to do a pop single or something, man, all his fans would turn two-faced on him. They'd be mad at him. You know what I'm saying? Because they want you for you. They want you. And so I'm gonna be honest with you. When I went to Warner Brothers, you know, I had a good time over at Warner Brothers with me. First, I was with DIGIWAXX Records for 10 years. I was independent from 1988. I had music on the shelves in 1988 all the way to 94. I had Captain Saberho and all the underground slaps before I signed with DIGIWAXX Records. You know what I'm saying? So we had a great album. My debut album on a major solo was in a major way. That album went platinum. You know what I mean? It kept going, and I had a great time with DIGIWAXX. It was cool. I don't got no complaints with DIGIWAXX because we had a lot of money, and they was letting me do what I wanted to do. Now we did. After that, we went our separate ways. My contract was up, and I signed with BME Warner. We came out with Get a Report Card. I had Tell Me When to Go, You and That Booty. We had a whole bunch of songs off that thing, man. Go Hard or Go Home. I had the big song with Lil Jon, Snap Your Fingers. All that was gravity. Now, this is the thing that wasn't cool. The next year, John and BME wasn't involved in this one. They were just Warner. You know what I mean? So a lot of people didn't have, under my contract, I had to stay on Warner, and BME their contract had expired, so John had to get his thing, but John still produced on there, and that's still my folks to this day. Anyway, to make a long story short, and a short story long, I came up with a song that I really actually like, and a lot of females and a lot of people like, called Wake It Up. I did it with Akon. No disrespect to Akon, but it's just my fan base didn't like me for that kind of music. You see what I'm saying? So, I did that one. That was my last little thing I had to obligate with Warner. So I went my separate ways with them. And it's still love, and it was a blessing. You know what I mean? They let me go free and clear, which was a lovely thing. And now I'm doing my independent thing. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm back to being free, being what I want, doing what I want to do. And my fans love me for me. You know what I mean? So now, I'm selling major labels right now. You smell me? Just by going back to my roots. Listen, look, man. First of all, what they do? We do some research, right? Is Facebook, ain't that like 50% of the traffic that's on the net?
Yeah, it's crazy.
And like Twitter is like only, 5 or 7%? But the thing about Twitter is what we do. You see what I'm saying? Facebook is too, but it's like for older people, younger people. It's for a little bit of everybody. But just from not having a Twitter account is one big mistake right there, because it don't cost no money.
Now stop thinking that you need money. Stop thinking about we in Iowa. It's little shit and this and that. My nigga, the internet is every fucking where, man. It's all over the fucking world. The motherfucker that invented Facebook that nigga is the youngest billionaire on the motherfucking face of the earth. $25 billion, man. This nigga is young. Watch the movie, man. That shit is every fucking where. He started that shit in his dorm room. Man, that shit everywhere. Stop thinking you need fucking money.
I think it's
don't
important.
need fucking money, man.
I think it's important too, because I've heard that statement, but part of that statement that you said a lot, and I've always heard it growing up here.
Me too.
My father wasn't from here, so I had a different type of pride instilled in me. When Bangladesh, I've been with them a million times, doing interviews on the radio, in magazines. When people ask me where I'm from, I always say Iowa, and I say it proud. Des Moines is a weird place. Growing up here, people feel sorry for themselves because they here. But yet, E40's here, right now, talking to him. And Bangladesh, who grew up here, brought him here, and brought me here. And me and 40 was talking the other night, because it's strange, he got his own relationship with Bangladesh. I got my own relationship with Bangladesh, and me and 40 got a business relationship, right? And I'm from Iowa. I grew up on Forest Avenue. So there's no excuse, and we need to stop that. And this is one of the things that I know Bangladesh wanted to handle. Just because you're from Iowa, the Iowans move the world. You know what I'm saying? You have the same technology in your phone that Snoop Dogg has in his phone, that E40 has in his phone. We had the thing last night. 40's like, hey, Twitter that picture, I'm going to retweet it. This is 40 who was selling records out of his trunk in the Bay Area 20 years ago. So if a 16-year-old could do it, and E40 can do it, then everybody in this room can do it. You know what I mean? So sometimes you have to break down what, I know it can seem overwhelming. I know we talking a lot of stuff that may be flying over y'all's heads, but you have to break down what you want to accomplish. You know what I mean? And then you have to use the tools that are available. It's too easy of an excuse, and I'm not just picking on Kaiser for the comment you made. Hold on, brother. Hold on.
Thank you.
Okay. But what I'm saying is, it's too easy of an excuse to be like, well, I'm in Iowa, and nobody gives a fuck about Iowa. That's too easy of an excuse, and it's prevented a lot of people from progressing. When E40 came out the Bay, guess what? Nobody gave a fuck about the Bay.
Hey, let me say this. I'm from, just like, you know, right here where y'all at, I'm from a small little town. If you blink, you might miss it, man. You know what I'm saying? It's called Vallejo, California. You smell me? So if anybody familiar with my music, you'll know, well, not my music, but my rap style, my voice, the patterns, everything that I represent, right? You would know that it wasn't just easy thing. So I had all odds against me. I didn't come up under no Dr. Dre or nobody, man. This is me. I did this, man. It's from a small little town called Vallejo. I didn't, Too Short, that's my dude. I grew up on his music, but he didn't loan me no helping hand. We good friends right now, and we've been good friends for a long time, but I had to work my way up the ladder to do a song with Too Short. You know what I'm saying? When he recognized me, I love your hustle, man. Let's do it. You ready now. You the man. You see what I'm saying? So you get it. Y'all, this city reminds me of Vallejo, because we was a small city. We in the Bay, but Oakland was winning. Oakland was already on. You smell me?
Taking knowledge from Kansas City. When you are from a town like Kansas City, when you're from a town like Little Rock, when you're from a town like Des Moines, that means you have access to all of the neighboring states, because guess what? They're in small towns too. That's why so many people relate and mess with and buy Tech Nine's music. Folks in Arkansas are like, wow, he's the closest thing to us. You know what I'm saying? He don't say, I can't really relate to Miami or Atlanta. He's the closest thing to me. I'm going to buy his music. People in Wyoming, Nebraska, Oklahoma, same thing. So, like, it's about how you think about where you're at. You don't always have to say, I'm in a small town. When you're in a small town, there's more small towns than big cities in America.
From day one, hip-hop has always had up-tempo beats and whatnot. You know what I mean? From what? We can go to It Takes Two with Rod Bass, Chubb Rock. We can go way back. I've been in this game for many moons. I've seen people come and go. I seen that hot dude, that's the hottest thing in the world. You never think he'll fall the next couple years. I just seen him come and go, bro. You know what I'm saying? Basically, let me just say this. Basically, the main thing right now, man, is hard work. Stop making excuses, man. Grit, network. You gotta stay there.
Like, I'm gonna tell you a story. Like, when I moved to Atlanta, and the high school I went to, I embraced only a handful of people. My best friend, which, rest in peace, he got killed. He was the cousin of Little Fate. I don't know if y'all know Little Fate, but he is Ludacris' hype man. Through Little Fate, we all connected. But they know me as the barber. I was the barber. They didn't know I had this dream of making music. They were already doing it. So when I bought my MP from cutting hair, I didn't ask my mom. I didn't save my $2,500 and bought an MPC 2000. And I used to cut Ludacris hair. This is before he's Ludacris. He's a voice jockey on the radio named Chris Lover. But he was a striving artist. So while he comes through, I tell him, yo, I bought an MPC. And he said, man, what you do that for? And see, that reaction is like, they know me as the barber. You know what I'm saying? They didn't know that I had this passion of music. They thought I was just doing it because they were. I didn't share, I didn't talk about it, I just was about it. I just moved like that, you know what I'm saying? 2 weeks later, he came back to the barbershop, got a line up, and I took him to the car. I said, man, come to the car. I had beats already. He was impressed. He like, oh man, what are you doing with this? I said, that's why I let you hear it, because I know what you're doing, boom, boom, boom. Bada boom, bada bing, we made What's Your Fantasy. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it happens, man. You don't, if I listen to whatever, even your parents or even your family, like, oh, it's never gonna work. Oh man, I had friends come to Atlanta and all they wanna do is go out and kick it. Come on, let's go. I'm sitting here, make a beat. Oh man, come on, man, it's never gonna work, man. Come on, everybody's doing that. And they locked up or they fucked up in a situation, you know what I'm saying? You stressed out because you gotta go to work every day and go to 9 to 5. You know what I'm saying? So you just gotta believe in yourself, man. It's all about self-belief.
Do interview, do all the interviews. Make sure, man, we used to walk around with a hat. You wouldn't catch me with a hat that said, without a hat that said E40 or the click on it. Right. I had t-shirts, everything. Sometimes you gotta go, and you can do it with a play of fashion. You know, you throw it on some slick clothes nowadays. You know what I mean? It can look right. You understand me? But that's how we used to walk around. You gotta let people know who you are and be at every event. You know what I mean? Try to be at all the events. Network with all the rappers. Get your name out there, man. I know some people out in the Bay, man. They're not that great of rappers, but guess what? People respect them because they hustle. And with that in mind, that comes with confidence. Confidence comes when everybody check for you. They start to check for you. Man, he's getting better. He's getting better. Next thing you know, you raw. Next thing you know, you really spit. You smell me?
Confidence.
But the confidence, faith and confidence, man. I'm telling you.
I say, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish up.
Nah, I was just saying stay networking, and just what Homeboy said. Back then when he first came in here, he said he hopping on everything. He hopping on all. No matter what side you're from or whatever. He just, especially if it's his city. You see what I'm saying? So y'all need to all combine and just, all that old sitting on the sidelines. I call them couch potato hustlers, man. When you just sitting there, you know what I mean, talk about, yeah, man, I'm doing this and that and other, but you ain't really moving. You just you on the treadmill just running by it, and you ain't going nowhere. You just sitting up there hating on everybody else. You know what I'm saying? You just sit up there, man, nah, dude, man, he got it. Only reason he got it on because such and such put him on, and woo, woo. And, you need to be concentrating on you. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing.
A lot of people in your crew have their habits. And when they want to work, man, you gotta work. It ain't about, let's smoke a blunt. Let me get this girl's number right quick. I'm tired. I'm doing this and that, nigga. You ask to work. Work. Let's work, my nigga. Fuck the weed. That shit ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like you need people that are about work, man, and are not. They don't get distracted with all the other stuff that they have going on in their personal life.
A lot of times with R&B singers and writers, they start off doing hooks for rappers. You know what I'm saying? Get with some of these rappers, man. Go in there and do some hooks. Get yourself known like that. T-Pain for one, right? T-Pain been doing his thing. First of all, he a rapper. He really can rap better than a lot of rappers out there, right? He really a rapper, but he a rapper turned singer. So actually, before, this man straight from Florida, all the cats, they know him and they been knowing him, but they didn't want him on their records until he had this smash hit record called You and That Booty with this boy E40. You know what I'm saying? And that was quarterbacked by a guy by the name of Maurice Garland and Sean Kennedy. That man right there and that man sitting back there, they was like, you know what, get T-Pain, he not oversaturated, woo, woo, woo. You know what I mean? So he got on there, did his thing, came with a cold hook, and the single was a gold-selling single. Now, look how many people he made rich by doing their hooks. How many rappers And he also made himself rich. Publishing checks, BMI checks. That's another thing.
Please
sign up for BMI or ASCAP ASAP. Go online and do that. It's easy.
Tell them the websites for BMI and ASCAP, please.
I think it's just BMI.com. You can just go right on there. I signed up years ago, but I'm almost certain that's what it is. And you can just Google BMI. They have a website on there or ASCAP. Either one is cool.
What's the difference? What's the difference between BMI and the other one?
It really, to me, I ain't never been able to understand that. They both play their position. They both is good.